With the beginning of agriculture, human beings started to settle down permanently in groups called tribes and began to live in the villages. Now, what are tribes? Tribes are usually 2 to 3 generations that live together in small settlements
of a tribe
which we know
followed
as
occupations
like hunting, gathering, farming, herding and fishing. Usually, women did most of the agricultural work like preparing the ground for farming, sowing seeds, looking after the plants that grew, and once the plants were fully grown, they used to harvest the grain or cut the crops. Men usually led large herds of animals in search of pasture. Pasture means the grass for grazing. And even children did work during that time. They looked after small flocks of animals. There were other works which both men and women did collectively, like cleaning of animals and milking, making pots, baskets, tools, and huts. Children, do you know how we entertain ourselves in these modern days by watching movies and musics and all? Even the people of earlier times, the Neolithic age, they entertained themselves by singing and dancing and decorating their huts. Now, these tribes also had some leaders. Now, how were these leaders selected for the tribes? There was no fixed description or criteria of their selection for leaders. Sometimes the leaders may be old and experienced person, or at times it could be young and brave warrior who could fight with other tribe or wild animals and protect the people of their own tribe, right? Or in some tribes the priest or the very knowledgeable person could be the leader. They also respected old women for their wisdom and experience. They had their own rich and unique cultural traditions, including their own language, music, stories, and paintings. They also had their own gods and goddesses. Children, the tribes were very much different from many other big societies like us. Now, how was that? We have studied that land, forest, and grasslands are all regarded as wealth of nature, right? So, the entire tribes of the Neolithic period, they used to share all these natural resources and used them together. Now take a look at the map shown here. All the places that are marked with square are the places of settlement of Neolithic age people. Now let us see how were their houses. Archaeologists have found traces of huts or houses at some sites. Like for example, in Burzahom, which is in present day Kashmir, people built pit houses which were dug into the ground with steps that led into them. These pit houses must have provided them shelter from the cold weather of Kashmir region. Archaeologists have also found cooking hearths both inside the huts and outside the huts. It shows that depending on weather, people would cook either inside or outside their houses. Some stone tools have also been found from many sites as well. These tools are very much different from that of the Paleolithic tools. Neolithic age tools were polished to give a fine cutting edge like mortar and pestle that were used for grinding grains. Children, don't you think you see these in your kitchen today also? Mummy makes tasty spicy chutneys from it, right? Many kinds of earthen pots, as shown in the picture here, have also been found, which were decorated and were used to store grains, water, and also cook food. Because of agriculture, grains like rice, wheat, and lentils now became an important part of the diet. Children, can you see in this picture the people are wearing clothes? Yes, they had begun weaving cloth using different kinds of materials like cotton, which could now be grown by them. After Burza home, now let us take a closer look at Mehergarh, which is one of a fertile plain lying near Bolan Pass, which is an important route to Iran. Presently, it lies in Pakistan. Mehergarh is probably one of the places where men and women learned to grow barley and wheat and rear sheep and goats for the first time. It is said to be one of the earliest villages about which we know. From this site, archaeologists have excavated many kinds of animal bones from the earliest levels, means not very deep from the surface of the ground level. These included bones of wild animals such as deer and pig. In later excavations, more bones of sheep and goat were found, and in still later levels or the more extensive excavations, cattle bones were most commonly found, which suggests that the animal was generally kept by the people. When people die, their relatives and friends generally pay respect to them. People believe that there is some form of life even after death. Their soul continues to live. This is known to us by one type of arrangement which we know as burial or burial. Many burial sites have been found at Mehergarh. In one such burial site, a skeleton has been found with skeletons of goats which might have buried with the dead person to serve him as food in the next world. From other things that have been found from Mehergarh are the square or rectangular shaped houses, 4 or more compartments or rooms, some of which may have been used for storage. Now children, let us know a little about Daujali Heding, which lies on the hills near the Brahmaputra valley at Assam, close to the routes that lead to China and Myanmar. Here, many stone tools, including mortars and pestles, have been found. These indicate that people probably grew grains and prepared food from it. Other things found are jadeite, a stone that might have been brought from China, which may be a fossil and used to make jewelry, pottery. Now children, this is country Turkey in the continent of Europe. From here, a Neolithic site, Catalhoyuk, gives us information that in this Neolithic site, many things were brought from faraway places like flintstones were brought from Syria, cowries from the Red Sea region, shells were brought from the Mediterranean Sea region and used in that settlement. Children, just imagine, due to lack of any vehicles, how difficult it would have been for them to carry all these things. And can you imagine what must have been the use of cowries and shells? Were they some sort of money or currency? Just guess about it. Okay, children, with this we come to the end of this lesson, wherein we have learned many things that about the Neolithic age, which gives us an idea that why it is a very important age. So read the textbook lesson thoroughly well and observe this video very attentively, and we will solve the question answer.